Hello, welcome to UX Poland 2016. We are in Copernicus Science Center. And hello, Mustafa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. Mustafa, you coordinate works at UX Fellows. You travel a lot and you see the UX applications in very different places, right?
Absolutely. Being a part of UX Fellows actually help us, expose ourselves, expose our services international level. It helps us understand the industry best practices, across the globe. It actually helps us, being a part of this huge network. Allows us to communicate and exchange ideas at a much broader level than you would have done without UX Fellows. Being a part of UX Fellows, I would just like to talk about UX Labs as well, which I am currently heading the practice, and we are part of Leo Burnett, Asia Pacific. And the practice was formed in 2009, considering the needs and the, how people actually behave with different applications. Initially, what we used to do, we used to just create structure basis some kind of requirements. But what UX Labs does is it takes scientific process into the whole approach, right? So we do a lot of research, we do a lot of usability testing, we do a lot of analysis in terms of what's right, what's wrong, what's good for a particular product. Some things might be good for some products, some things, the same things might not be good for another product. So we try to contextualize solutions as well. We are very good at actually information architecture and conducting the whole user-centered design process as well. And that's what I am actually. So my role in the team is basically to mentor people as well. Not only the team, my team, but mentor other team members in the organization, because that helps actually spread awareness among the client as well, right?
And tell me when you work with the very different markets and different products, would you say that UX industry in general is a global thing, and we are applying unified set of tools and heading same way, or would you say there are different regional specifics? How it looks from your perspective of someone who have been in so many places?
Absolutely. I think it's a great question, and I would like to share my experience here as well. In terms of, so I have been, I've worked in US for 7 years, and the perception over there for creative solution, or taking users into the accountability, and not just telling users you have to do this because we like it, but we take their perspective as well. And been in US for 6-7 years, and then I moved to India. Now, last 3.5-4 years, I'm in India working with UX Labs, Leo Burnett. I've actually been to Saudi Arabia for usability testing projects as well. And I could see a vast difference in terms of how people are in terms of acceptance. So, for example, in Western countries, this is my first time in Europe, not too much of interaction, but I believe whatever I have actually encountered in the last 3-4 days, people are pretty much open to ideas. They love sharing, they love talking, and exactly this is what used to happen in US, where so there was one research which I did for one of the largest pharmacy in US, and if you ask one question, they would just not answer that question. They would actually tell you more about it. And what is good about that technique is, you can't take a protocol with you, right? Because the question they have answered, you might have an additional question on that answer, and that helps you actually gain more insights. But when we went to Saudi Arabia, the whole, first of all, the whole, the aspect of, we say it's a scientific process of reading stuff from left to right and top to bottom, right? But in Saudi Arabia, it's absolutely opposite. It's right to left, right? So the whole perception, the whole culture, it's a big cultural change. And the people are there a little, they are shy. They don't like to talk too much. What they will, whatever you ask, they will answer that much. So it becomes more tough for you as a researcher,
You need to
right?
pull everything out
Exactly.
and
So then you have a protocol of 10 questions, but you can't depend on those 10 questions because now the person is not responding. You might have to add additional 5 questions impromptu, right? Right there. And that's a challenge. And I've actually enjoyed that because I've been there a couple of times. I thought maybe the first time was a little different. I was new. But the second time I went there, it was the same. So I thought maybe that's something which I actually took notice of. India people are shy. You would actually have to probe a little bit more to get things out of them. So and that's a challenge, and that's a fantastic. I would say it's something fantastic to know about because you as a researcher you'll have to be on your toes every time, right? It's not something like a set of rules and protocols you can follow around the globe. So different culture, different people, you'll have to adopt that way.
okay. Uh, Tell me, when you look at trends and when you participate in projects in so many places, what do you think is gonna gain importance in upcoming years? What trends are gonna fade out? What's gonna become more important?
Again, I think it would depend on geographies. So I would actually rate this into like couple of I would break this into a couple of groups. One is your early adopters, right, and one is your late adopters, right. I would say Western countries are little early adopters, so things might change there pretty quickly. So when smartphones were introduced, when in Western countries, people started using it, very very fluently, and I think it's just an acceptance, that you are accepting the change. But when you come to countries like I would say a little bit like, for example, say Africa, right? They are little late adopters, so you might have to design something which will help them in a longer way, right? So little bit more intuitiveness, less technical, a little bit more friendly in terms of the jargons used. Um, so again, based on the geography, and I would say devices are here to stay. If I'll give you a very practical example of when I was in US and I was doing a research for this largest pharmacy, and we were doing this the entire pharmacy system for them. Uh, so there were like three kind of audiences where one set of people coming from colleges, they were pretty young, they were like very youthful energy, and they used to like love change. There was another type of an audience who were like 50 years old, and they were reluctant to change. And when we told them that we are going to remove the system out and put a new one, they were like, I would kill myself if you do this. And these are the words they've used. But as a company, they had to do that. So what they adopted was they had a counseling sessions with them. And it's one of the largest pharmacy where they have 7,000 stores, 8,000 stores, right? So they had to take care of the people as well. So they had those counseling sessions where they explain the advantages of a new system, right? And we are not going to take away everything from you. We are going to add few things. So it required a lot of counseling sessions for them. But for like early adopters, like for youth, it was like they were excited for the change. So change is here. I mean, something which you'll have to adopt. And I think going forward, I would see this like the wearables and the IoTs, Internet of Things. I think the presentation I saw, it was mind-boggling. I mean, some of the stuff you would feel like, is it necessary? But I don't know. Maybe 10 years down the line, yes, it is necessary. Um, I mean, 10 years back, I didn't have a mobile phone, and if somebody would have showed me a mobile phone, I would have said, what is this? Exactly the things which are showing, I mean, been shown in the presentation right now. We are questioning that, but I think that's going to change, and that's going to be something a future ahead.
Okay. And tell me, this year our main subject on UX Poland is responsibility in design. So I wonder, what does it mean for you? How would you say you can be responsible working as a designer, working in the industry?
Um, as a responsible designer, I think our aim is to be ethical. I know I have seen a presentation on dark patterns. I've seen that, and I had a good word with Lee as well on that. And I asked her a question about, as a designer, I want to be ethical, right? It's something like you are looting someone at a gunpoint, and it's unethical from that perspective. It is exactly with our designers like us, right? You can't be cheating users. But how do we bridge that gap between what is good for users and as well as what is good for the business as well? So that's something I think I would actually love to explore more on that, because as a designer, I'm responsible for the users. As a designer, you're responsible towards your client as well. So that's something I would learn. I would like to learn. I would like to explore. If opportunity comes, I would actually try to attend sessions on that as well, like how to bridge that gap or how to balance things out. Responsible designers. It's something which is I would say it's very easy to say, but very difficult to achieve. It's like simplifying the experience. It's very easy to say simplify, right? But it's, I think, the most complicated thing. How do you simplify an experience? It is something which is I'm also struggling at this point of time. That being a human myself, and it's that human psychology, right? How do you play with human psychology to their advantage and not to their disadvantage, right? So that's
Correct.
something which I would love to thrive upon and learn upon.
Okay, thank you very much, Mustafa.
Thank you so
Pleasure
much.
to have you here. Great to
Absolutely.
talk to you. And thank you guys for watching.
Hope to see you guys next year.
Definitely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.